I wanted to relate a incident that I recently experienced that I want to make it crystal clear that you can't, I'm not saying you can draw any great conclusions from this or even some great assumptions. I simply maintain that the incident that I witnessed will become so commonplace that you might even call it the new normal, at least as this depression unfolds. I'll try to tell it as exactly and concisely as it happened. And you think about it what you wish. I was in a restaurant. I don't even think you can call it a restaurant. It was a hamburger place. I was getting a hamburger the other day. Been in this place many times, many times. And got my order and went and sat down. After a few minutes, two men came in and got their order and sat down a couple of tables away from me. And there was an employee, a young man, very clean cut, very polite, very ordinary, pleasant, might even say for this place, professional. And of course, this particular food chain at the moment has got a promotional thing going that if you fill out a survey and give the code that's on your receipt, you'll get a free hamburger the next time you come, or you get a coupon for a free hamburger. No big deal, nothing, another day in the life. Okay, these two guys sat down. I always put my receipt in my pocket. And this place, when they give you your order, they give you a duplicate receipt. It's different than, obviously different than the receipt that you get when you pay. I don't know why they do it. They just always have. Anyway, I had my receipt in my pocket, and had the duplicate laying on the table. These two guys, they came over and sat down across from me, close enough that I could overhear the conversation. Not eavesdropping, it was just a matter of fact. Anyway, this young man, very clean cut, had a fresh haircut, sharp looking young man, employee. He comes by and, ask if I need anything. And that's, usual polite, professional thing. You don't think anything about it. Okay. But he did pause at my table and, as if he was looking, I bet, at the moment you don't think anything about it. He walks around to another part of the room and then comes back to the two guys sitting across from me. And he says, "Excuse me," and was very, he wasn't hung up about this at all. He wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't hesitant. It was so matter of fact. That's, I guess, what was disturbing about it to me. I have learned in my life, I recognize the BS. I recognize the hustle, and I recognize the flim-flam. I can smell it a mile away, and I'm on guard constantly for it. The thing is that this young man was none of that. He was not pulling a fast one in any way. He walks up to these two guys sitting across from me and he says, "Excuse me, if you're going to throw, and just I'll try to do it just like he did. If you're going to throw that receipt away, may I please have it? And the two guys kind of look at each other and said, yeah, sure, no problem. And the boy, I call him a boy, he seemed 18 to 22, somewhere in that age range. He paused, he says, thank you, very politely, and he says, the pay is so bad here that I ask people for their receipt because I call in, and he was just so open about this. It was amazing. He said, I call in this survey and get the receipt so I can have a hamburger. I mean, this is not like a bum putting a bite on somebody. This was an employee. Now, I don't want to say the name because I never would want to get this young man in any kind of trouble. I don't know if that's against what he did was against any policy. He was not harassing anyone. He spoke from need. This young man spoke from need. He needed the hamburgers. And I don't know, you can't, like I said before, you can't draw any great conclusions about anything. I maintain that you're going to see this nonstop everywhere. And I think this is going to be a way of life. That you see this disparity. That, this was a matter of something to eat, not just your typical flim-flam that you'd run into. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, what did I want to talk about today? And this seemed like a good subject because this is the changing face of the reality of this nation, and it's how it's going downhill. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've never seen something so normal and natural that this young man, if they would have said, no, who do you think you are? You can't have this. This is ours. I'm sure he would have just said, I'm sorry, thank you anyway. I mean, very polite, very professional. And I know what it was when he walked up to my table, and he was looking to see if I had laid that receipt there, and he was going to ask me too, but since it was in my pocket, he just saw the duplicate that they give out, and he probably assumed that I threw it away already. Did I feel sorry for this kid? Pity never entered my mind. I kind of shake my head at that this is what's happening. This is a glimpse of what's underneath the surface that most people hide so well. There's no telling how many other people that work let's just say in a similar situation, may not even be the same restaurant chain, may not be the same product, but let's say a similar circumstance. There may be employees that are too embarrassed to do what this guy did, and they go through the trash in private. When they take it out to the dumpster, they look through and try to find receipts to get free stuff like that. I'm just saying, I maintain, I'm not saying we're drawing any conclusions about anything, but I think I draw my own conclusions. I maintain that this is going to be, I think, begging for a hamburger may be the very least of someone's worries. Anyway, that's it for this time, and I hope to goodness it doesn't get to that point for me, and I certainly hope it's not to that point for you. And if it ever is for you or for me, I hope to God, and I do not say that lightly, it's my honest prayer that I handle it with the dignity and the honor that this young man did. He had no shame about it, and it was obviously not a flim-flam. He wasn't putting a bite on nobody. He wasn't asking for money, nothing like that. He certainly wasn't marketing for pity. He was simply using a tool to get through a time in his life and he did it with total honesty and above board, and for that I'm proud of him. And I pray that his way is in life is a lot brighter down the road. But anyway, interesting circumstance to share and to think about.